Prince Harry is set to return to the US in the next 24 hours, following the conclusion of Prince Philip's funeral service. Prince Charles have urged warring Princes William and Harry to seize the opportunity of a resolution for the good of the monarchy and their families. Before, Prince Harry was seen chatting and walking with Prince William and Kate Middleton, after over a year away from the United Kingdom. In Prince Philip's funeral on Saturday, all eyes were on Prince William and Prince Harry as the brothers publicly reunited for the first time in over a year. The Duke of Cambridge and Duke of Sussex walked behind their grandfather's coffin beside their cousin Peter Phillips, who is the only son of Princess Anne, at the beginning of the procession before the funeral. As they walked solemnly behind their grandfather's coffin, in one of the most poignant and emotional processions in royal history, it was hard not to think back to the walk they made 24 years ago during the funeral for their mother, Princess Diana. And as the spring sunshine lit up Windsor Castle in all its glory, one imagined that Princess Diana would have been happy that her beloved boys were together again. The brothers' conversation took place after only weeks have passed since the devastating Oprah interview. Despite this, Prince Harry and Prince William looked relaxed in each other's company as they walked the short distance back to Windsor Castle. It is understood, they later spent some time together as they reached the state apartments, where the Queen had been staying with Philip, out of sight of the television cameras which had broadcast the funeral. Prince Harry's appearance at today's service marks the first time he has returned to the UK since he and Duchess Meghan stepped down from senior working royal duties last year, as the royal family united for Prince Philip's funeral. But his stay was short-lived as he is expected to jet back to the US in the next 24 hours, to be reunited with his heavily pregnant wife Meghan and their son Archie. 1. The Prince of Wales, seen shedding a tear as he followed his father's coffin, will become royal family patriarch after 14M watched Queen say goodbye to Philip. Sources said he had been buoyed by scenes of his two boys talking moments after the family laid the Duke of Edinburgh to rest at St George's Chapel. After Prince Philip's funeral, Prince Charles had private talks with his warring sons, and insiders say it is just what Philip would have wanted. When those conversations will take place is a work in progress. Vanity Fair was told the Prince of Wales spent some time alone with Harry walking around the Queen's private gardens after yesterday's service. William was invited to join them. Prince Charles is said to be desperate for a reconciliation with his son, while William, who is more cautious and hesitant, has conveyed hopes they can have a better relationship over time. Prince William needs to know he can trust Harry and that private conversations will stay private, added the source. The three met up away from the cameras following Saturday's televised service. They remained together for 2 hours at Windsor Castle as they mingled with family members, and it sparked hopes that the devastating rift between the brothers could one day be healed. Prince Harry may now stay on for the Queen's 95th birthday this Wednesday. He has also said he will join his older brother for the unveiling of Princess Diana's memorial statue at Kensington Palace. Royal insiders hope the ceremony on the 1st of July could also help ease the rift as they stand together on what would have been their mother's 60th birthday. After a long, lonely, and at times deeply difficult year marked by rifts, anger, and resentment, Prince William and Prince Harry were finally reunited at the funeral for their grandfather Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh. For the Queen, who cut a lonely figure as she sat by herself in St George's Chapel, the instructions to William and Harry had been clear: bury the hatchet for the day, and thankfully they did. And despite reported tensions between Harry and his family, the Duke of Sussex was seen chatting with his brother William as they left the service this afternoon, the first time the pair have met face to face in over a year. Once inside the chapel you could feel their grief. William, his jaw clenched as it often is at intensely difficult times, sat directly opposite Harry, who was seated alone. Sources close to Harry say he was nervous about coming home and attending the funeral, the emotion of the day and what it would be like finally seeing William. There were signs of that nervousness, the way he tapped his order of service anxiously against his leg, and stared into the distance not quite knowing where to look, seeming almost worried to meet William's eye across the aisle. But, after funeral guests exited St. George's Chapel, Prince Harry walked alongside Kate Middleton and his brother as they left the church. Harry and William were seen speaking to each other and strolling next to one another. Prince William was seen hanging back to let Harry and Kate catch him up as the mourners left the chapel. The princes then walked together for several minutes, just moments after watching their grandfather's coffin lowered into the royal vault in emotional scenes inside the chapel. The princes strode side by side, with Kate on Harry's right, and all three talking to each other. Harry and William then walked slightly ahead of the Duchess and looked deep in conversation, glancing at each other while they chatted. Though both Harry and Kate were masked at that moment, they appeared to be in good spirits for the reunion. A body language expert told Fabulous the brothers looked relaxed in a natural moment of unity outside the chapel. It was the first time Harry, 36, who now lives in California, came face to face with his family a year after quitting the firm to go it alone. Royal sources suggested last night Harry would see his grandmother before he returns to America, unsure of when he will return. One palace insider said, "It is certainly the wish of the Queen and the Prince of Wales that the brothers seize the opportunity of their brief reunion." Despite some very obvious tension still remaining, the feeling very much is if they do not seek a resolution it could further drive a wedge between them and at heart do more damage to the monarchy. Philip's death leaves Prince Charles as patriarch of royal family. An indisputable truth of hereditary monarchy is that promotion to the top job is accompanied by deep personal loss. So it will be for the Prince of Wales, who will eventually take the throne as he mourns his mother. After the Duke of Edinburgh's passed away will have had no less profound an effect on Prince Charles. And, though on any official level it does not alter his royal status, it does change the family dynamic. Philip was the patriarchal head of the firm. This is the mantle Charles will now assume. This role was most symbolically underscored when Charles was the only family member to visit his father during his recent spell in hospital. He spent 30 minutes at the Duke's bedside at King Edward VI's Hospital in London in February. What words were exchanged between father and son can only be guessed at, and are unlikely to ever be made public. But it was a somber Charles who emerged with, according to photographers waiting outside, tears glistening in his eyes. When the Queen attends the funeral of her husband of 73 years, then marks her 95th birthday 4 days later without him, Charles will be increasingly at her side. Though Charles's vision is of a slimmed-down monarchy, the royal historian Robert Lacey said Philip's death is just a reminder that without him and Harry they needed extra people. Thank you for watching our video. Please support growing channel by subscribe channel and like video hour. And don't forget activate notifications to channel to always get the latest news. If you have any problems with the information in the video, please write a comment below to let us know and answer.